This isn't to say that I'm holier than thou and that other YouTubers are bad or anything like that, but it's to explain kind of the economics of YouTube and why my channel operates the way that it does, so that you have sort of a, I guess, a peek into like how it operates, but also, I mean, who knows, maybe you're curious for your own channels or whatever. It's worth knowing how you monetize YouTube so that you can understand, like, having sponsors isn't a bad thing. Having your own products isn't a bad thing. There's just different directions you can go. Let's break it down and you'll get a clear picture. This will be the first time that I give you a peek behind the curtain of how the economics of YouTube kind of work. And don't worry, my channel's not going that direction, and I'm not trying to try to say that any other YouTubers are bad or anything like that and that I'm holier than thou. I just think it's important to understand how it works and how a channel stays functioning but still remains profitable, so that you understand, like, there's a reason for sponsors, there's a reason for some people having white labeled products and things like that. It'll help you understand why we do what we do. So there's really three directions that you can go. And look, I'll be the first to admit, I am a business person through and through, okay? Absolutely. But business people all the time have transformations. I had my own transformation. Guess what? Someone that's really good at biochemistry can also be a business person, right? I get it. And if this channel doesn't allow me to have a team and doesn't allow me to stimulate the economy in a positive way, then it'd be costing me so much money to do it, it wouldn't make sense for my family, right? I still have to look out for that. So there's three real ways that you can go about making this a business. And I have fundamental core value problems with some of the other ones, right? So direction number one is having a bunch of clickbait type videos that aim on getting as many views as possible. That revenue strategy would be, I want to get as much what is called AdSense revenue as possible. That's money coming in from the advertisements that YouTube serves over videos, right? So back in the day, people used to make a lot of money doing that. They used to make a lot of money running those kinds of just videos to go for views, and then getting those views and allowing YouTube and Google to pay the money based upon the views that would come and how many ads they would serve. That's called AdSense revenue. The algorithm has changed over the last few years, where it's a lot more difficult to make solid revenue going that route. But there are still channels that use that as their strategy. The issue that I have from a core value fundamental standpoint is that relies on creating subject matter that is only trendy. Subject matter that is only going to get massive amounts of views. Subject matter that is going to get the eyeballs, whether it's good quality or not. It takes the creative control out of you somewhat subconsciously, because you are dependent on creating content on what that algorithm is going to be satisfied by, okay? That is okay from a business perspective, but it doesn't allow me to create the content that I want to create. Speaking of which, after this video, I want you to check out Thrive Market. If you're doing keto, you're doing fasting, anything like that, you do want to check them out. They are a sponsor of this channel, which I'll explain how it kind of works in a minute as well. But they are also who I use. In fact, as a matter of fact, I contacted them first because I used them, and then they became a sponsor on the channel. So keto, fasting, paleo, anything that is going to be grocery in a better for you category, like pantry staples, you can get delivered to your doorstep through Thrive. So there's a link down below, saves you 25% off of a membership plus a free gift when you do use that link. Trust me, you've just got to check it out. At least give it a try, order a few things, see how you like getting groceries delivered. It is a game changer. Okay, the second way that you see people on YouTube make money, right? And you see a lot of this happen. I can think of a few channels off the top of my head that have kind of gone through this evolution. They realize, oh, well, I'm not making as much money as my business scales, as I add staff, as I add infrastructure, as I add technology, as I add ad spend. I'm not making that much money. It's very difficult to make it work with traditional, just trying to go for views. So what do? They create an individual product line, their own product line. That works, and I understand that, but the problem with creating your own product line is then all of your content is going to circumnavigate and ultimately come back to the fact that your product is best. It ends up taking the unbiased approach out of things. Once you have your own product, especially if you have a plethora of products across a wide variety of categories, then that makes it very difficult to speak authentically, because then you are having to always come back to, oh, well, take my multivitamin, or, oh, take my this, because everything else is garbage. And it's unrealistic and inauthentic because there's plenty of other great products out there, right? And then you start becoming a little bit more of someone that has to push your own product, which with a solid, strict community can be very well received, because people will say, I love your stuff, I love you, I'll buy whatever you tell me to buy in terms of your products. And if you built this, well, 9 times out of 10, it's white labeled stuff anyway, but whatever, I get it. And I'm not ever gonna rain on someone's parade for having a good business idea if it's done with integrity. I just have to lay it out how it works. Then you have my idea behind it, and you see other channels with it. I want to be a curator. I would rather be someone that positions good products in front of you because they're good products, but I like being able to be in control of the subject matter. Let's say, for example, I wanted to create a video in a very esoteric topic that would appeal to maybe 15,000 people out of the 3 million subscribers, right? 15,000 people might find this video interesting. If I was going for option 1, where I was just going for views to try to get ad revenue, I would never create that video because it would never be worth it. Because it would never justify the production cost and everything like that to get that video on the channel if it's only gonna get 15,000 views. But if I have the opportunity to work with a sponsor that is willing to get behind me producing that video, by paying for that to happen, it allows me to create the content I want to create in the subject matter I want to talk about without having to sit here constantly worried about if it's going to generate enough ad revenue. Because if I'm talking to a specific audience, let's just say I wanted to do a video about the benefit of putting mud flaps on your truck. Okay, probably wouldn't get a lot of views, but if I were to say, well, hey, I have mud flaps on my truck, I don't, but I went to a mud flap company and I said, I want to create a video on mud flaps, but it's probably not going to perform very well with how scaled my production is now, employee costs, studio costs, again, production in general, whatever. Then I can go to the mud flap company and say, I want to create a video, but I really like your mud flaps. Do you want to sponsor it so that I can actually create this? And they would say, well, yeah, because that's very targeted. And the people that would watch a mud flap video are probably interested in our mud flaps. So even if there's only 10,000 people that watch it, they're probably interested in mud flaps. It would probably perform well for that audience. And you get to create the content that you're passionate about. That's what I say. I create the content because I want to create the content and I want to put the information out there, but I can't do it for free. And I don't want to ask you to pay. I would rather you choose products that work for your lifestyle, like it, love it, hate it, leave it, skip over it, whatever. If it works for you and it's pragmatic and applicable, then heck yes. And it allows me to have creative control. I don't want to be trapped by what YouTube wants me to do for maximum ad revenue. I want to spread my message and share my story so that people can benefit from it. But I also want to do it in a way that I can run a successful business and not just run myself into the ground. Anyway, it breaks it down, it makes some sense. So now you know. And if you're doing your own channel, you're doing your own thing, well, now you have the 3 different kind of monetization strategies. I'll see you tomorrow.